At 60, standing right here, 60, please note, I'm 60 years old, standing here, I do not chase achievements anymore. I chase and I challenge the lens that defines all the achievements. Never, ever born in a box. Coming from Jammu and Kashmir, all I knew was that life had to be lived. After 40 years of world exposure, international relations with people, and traveling to 109 countries, there was something that was far more beyond. After reaching the roof of the world at 53, Mount Everest, and scaling 6 of the 7 highest continents in the world, and in total 12 mountains, I realized something really uncomfortable. I realized that leadership was not just failure. It was success. It was the success that people were running about. But we had to find the lens that slowly whispered, this is how you have to be. This is how far you have to go. This is what you become. So in that small moment, a lens broke. That was metanoia. I realized I did not get that feeling in classrooms, boardrooms, or even in life general. That special moment came to me on Mount Everest. Let me tell you something about Mount Everest. It's a mountain, as you know, is the highest in the world, 29,035 feet. When you're at ground zero, you don't think like that. When you scale up, your perspective of life changes. Climbing Mount Everest requires you basically to come to the base camp, which is nearly 18,000 feet, and from then on you go to various camps. The camps are another story. I can't even begin to tell you. But I remember candidly that when you climb Mount Everest, the strength in your body is something that you have trained for years and years to get to that point. You have run in the gym, you have worked out, you can never ever be prepared. The strength is something that just closes account. Your ego disappears. Your strength is only your mind. So I remember very, very candidly, and this I can tell you, anything above 26,500 feet, we call it the death zone. And in the death zone, your body shuts down. It's only your mind taking you up to Everest. And if you can see the picture ahead, that is the last few meters coming up to Everest. And it gets tougher and tougher even with the oxygen that you sort of keep inhaling. There's a hissing sound. The wind is blowing 70 miles per hour. You're hanging on to one rope. Everything is against you. your body shuts down. So such moment happened when I was coming on that slope a few hundred meters from the summit. I went with two Sherpas, two private Sherpas, 9 times Everesters, so they definitely knew what they were doing. My body just shut down, and I stood still, not knowing what to do, as if I was frozen on the spot. And I had visualized this moment for a long, long time, that I am going to reach there. And 2018, when I was 53, that was my second attempt. And I'd had 2017 when I had to turn back. So I was even more eager, and I have to reach it. So the only thing that came to my mind all the time was, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it, and I'll do it. So what you say to yourself inside is what works. So coming back to the story, my lead Sherpa, Tenji, looked at me and he said, "Ma'am, now we need to slow down." And for me, who's had 40 years of work experience, the only thing I knew was speed it up, get the goals met, go and do this, go and do that. Because this is how we are all brought up, to reach one thing after the other. I resisted, but something shifted at that time. I had to listen to him. I had to see my perspective. The silence that pervaded during that time shifted my entire lens, because it's foolish to rush up on a mountain, because you've got death at close quarters. And that's when I realized I got my metanoia, that slowing down is not necessarily a failure. It is something that we have to see it from a perspective where a profound impact happens, where you see, you visualize, and you choose. Was I going to go back? No. I had to make that. So off we went, and we reached the Everest with tears down my eyes. I can still remember. But I became so aware of that moment, which had given me the spark that everything else is a pittance. You feel like a grain of sand up there. There's nothing on top except flags. And you're sitting there. And this picture I particularly put here is you can see the curvature of the earth. So when you reach the highest point on earth, you basically are nothing, a small little tiny being. That crumbles your ego to the lowest point, to say, what is ego? What are you fighting about? What is the real thing is the awareness. When I climbed Everest, people thought I'd reached the peak, and that was my highlighted moment. Sorry to say. That's when the lens shifted. I came back, I was 53, for 2 years I was busy with media. I still am being called to speak on Everest. At 56, I went to see my son who studied in the US. And I went with my backpack and my trekking poles, and I said, let's go camping. And he said, Mom, camping you do in India and you do it in Nepal, but here we are going to cycle. He's a cyclist, he's a triathlete. So after 40 years from school, I rode a bicycle. And I brought back a very super bike back home. I entered a duathlon. I cycled 40 kilometers and I ran 10 kilometers. And I stood first in my category. 56, I did that. 57, as if that was not enough, 57, somebody had told me long time back, you can't ride a motorbike. And I said, now's the time to learn a motorbike. So at 57, I learned how to ride a motorbike, and also incidentally, I had seen a motorbike in US with the Harleys going, swaying away. It was something I visualized. So I learned I can ride a motorbike now. So at 57, I learned how to ride a motorbike, and I had my Harley moments too. At 58, I decided I had to do something different. With adventure in my blood, I decided that I'm going to take a trip to Spiti. I'm not going to walk, but I'm going to take my 4x4 and go in the thick of winter to Spiti Valley and ride the 4x4, not the bike, the car, on black ice. I had so many death moments on that trip. But they say, unless you expand your mind, unless you think that there is something that requires changing, is to change, twitch the lens. Why wear the same lens which you have been grilled with? You can't do this and you can't do that. So age is not a barrier. 58, continuation in 59. Because I had done a duathlon, now it's time to do something else. So taking inspiration from my son, Mom, why don't you learn how to swim? And there's a story about swimming. My father never wanted me to swim. I came from a small town, Jammu. My father used to make me sit by the side of the pool simply because the boys would see me going into the pool. So I never learned how to swim. So at 59, for 2 months in winter, and you know Gurgaon, how cold it can be, in a heated pool, I learned how to swim for 2 months. And then I dived straight into Goa in the open water, did a swimathon, again came first. 59 was that, and then this whole experience of sharing whatever knowledge I have amassed over the years. I came out with my coffee table book at 59, just before I turned 60, and got it launched by Jamling Norgay, the son of Tenzing Norgay, the first guy who climbed Everest. So such an iconic moment. What I like to tell you here is this is not about bragging or this is not about fitness. It's about changing your perspective. It's changing that age is not something you should hold on to or think, I have done this, now it's time to rest. Though I've been told in many times when I've had injuries, ma'am, now you need to water the plants. Do you think I would be ever sitting and watering the plants? I'd be probably looking for some other things to do. So there's 3 questions for you here. 1, how much of your lens are you clearing? Are you looking from a perspective of fear, or are you just being familiar so you stay in the comfort zone? Are you taking your age as something which is a barrier, or are you taking age as an advantage with your knowledge that you can give to others? And the third most important is, your value does not diminish by saying, I was wrong and I can do it better. Your value increases with less rigidity and more action, which is why I would say that today, anything that goes back in the world is all up to you. You're sitting here, I'd like you to do this question in your mind. Are you really looking for a change? Are you in an imaginary illusion that these things happen because of this? Change your lens. change the lens of what you are amassing, what you're keeping inside. Earlier when I came, I talked about when I climb mountains, I change the perspective. I'll tell you, today, are you changing your perspective today? Are you changing the way you see things? Are you willing to go that extra mile? Because anything that you choose today is going to be a better future tomorrow if you make the right choices. And self-mastery and conscious leadership requires you to be aware, because unconsciously you are not going to go anywhere. And the way to go forward is definitely to see it right ahead. Now, in that special 10 seconds, think of what you want to do today. Make that a goal. And are you seeing it from the perspective of who you are today, what you're saying to yourself today, or you are following the crowd? Because following the crowd will lead you nowhere. You want to do something outstanding, forget the age. Forget the identity that somebody has given you. Forget how much you've studied. Step up. Step up, see the world from a higher perspective. And let me tell you, you don't need to go to Everest to do this. Your Everest moment is now. Your Everest moment is shift it now, because now is where everything is present, and now is where you will rise.